In the ancient state of Chu, two master swordsmiths, Gan Jiang and Mo Ye, were commissioned by the king to forge a pair of legendary swords. It took them 3 full years to finish. Furious at the delay, the king threatened to kill them. At that time, the sword came as a pair, one male, one female. Mo Ye was pregnant and close to giving birth. Gan Jiang, knowing the danger he faced, told her, "If the baby is a boy, tell him when he grows up. Look to the southern mountain. On the pine tree growing from stone, the sword lies behind the trunk." Gan Jiang took the female sword and presented it to the king. As expected, the king was enraged. His sword tester saw that only one blade had been delivered, and the male sword was missing. The king, consumed by anger, executed Gan Jiang on the spot. Years passed. The boy was born and grew up. His name was Chi. One day he asked his mother, "Where is my father?" She told him everything, how his father had forged the swords, how he'd been killed, and what message he'd left. Chi stepped outside and looked toward the southern mountain, but saw no peak, only a pine pillar in front of their hall, growing from a stone base. He struck the pillar with an axe and split it open. Inside he found the sword. From that day on, Chi lived with one thought: revenge. One night, the king had a dream. A man appeared before him. His brows set wide apart, vowing revenge. Terrified, the king offered a huge reward for the man's head. Chi heard of this and fled into the mountains. There, a wandering swordsman met him and asked, "You are so young. Why are you crying like this?" Chi replied, "I'm the son of Gan Jiang and Mo Ye. The king killed my father. I want revenge." The swordsman said, "I've heard about the reward. Give me your head and your sword. I will avenge you." Chi agreed without hesitation. He cut off his own head, held it along with the sword, and handed them to the man. His body stood stiff and upright until the swordsman promised, "I won't fail you." Then Chi's body finally collapsed. The swordsman brought the head to the king, who was delighted. "This is a warrior's head," said the swordsman. "It deserved to be boiled in a great cauldron." The king agreed. They boiled the head for 3 days and nights, but it would not break apart. Suddenly the head leaped from the pot, eyes wide, burning with rage. The swordsman said, "Such a head can only be softened if your majesty come close to look." As the king leaned in, the swordsman struck him with the sword. The king's head fell into the pot. Then the swordsman took his own life, dropping his head into the cauldron too. The 3 heads boiled together until no one could tell them apart. They were buried separately but honored together. The grave became known as the Tomb of 3 Kings, and to this day it is said to lie in Yinchuan County, north of Runan Commentary. This tale hits hard. It's not just about revenge, it's about legacy, honor, and sacrifice. What moves the most is how Gan Jiang and Mo Ye quietly passed down not only a sword, but a purpose to their son. Chi's willingness to give his life and the swordsman's loyalty feel both mythic and deeply human. But there is something even deeper in the symbolism of the male and female swords. In the Chinese thoughts, these aren't just weapons, they reflect the harmony of yin and yang, the balance between strength and softness, action and patience. The female sword brought before the king represents vulnerability and sacrifice. The male sword, hidden behind the pine, is justice lying in wait. Only when both swords have played their part in the story complete. This balance between seen and unseen, between loss and retribution, is what gives the story its lasting power.